Hey everybody, today we look at Proverbs 22, and it is full of a lot of valuable nuggets. So obviously it's hard to choose which thing to land on. But the verses about being generous to the poor, verses 2, 9, 16, 22, and 3, they're very powerful, and you don't want to overlook those. So make sure you take a look at those verses. But what I want to pause on today is something that challenged me, because I believe you're going to be stirred by this as well. In verse 13, it talks about a sluggard. Now, that's not a word we use much in today's language, but sluggard is the Hebrew word otsail. In the King James Version, it interchanges the word slothful for sluggard, but it suggests sluggish or lazy. It comes from a root word that means to be slack or lean idly to the side. So in verse 13, it says, the sluggard says, there is a lion outside, or I will be murdered in the streets. Another version is similar. It says, the sluggard says, there's a lion outside, I'll be killed in the public square. The Passion Translation reads, a slacker always has an excuse for not working, like, I can't go to work, there's a lion outside. And murderers too. The point Solomon is trying to make is that lazy people will always find excuses to shirk their duty, put something off, or avoid responsible things. To those individuals, there's always a lion or an obstacle that's just too big, too much, and the lion becomes another person's responsibility to take care of and deal with or remove. However, where the slacker sees an obstacle course, the wise and industrious person sees an opportunity for advancement and acceleration. The takeaway piece here is that we don't live in fear of the lion. We take on the struggle and the challenge because the opportunity to kill a lion isn't common. And I might add, men and women of wisdom and productiveness aren't common either. I want to call us to that. I want to declare right now, we're a people of wisdom. We're willing to work hard. We're willing to be used by God to be his giant killers and confront lions and bears and take them down and out. The truth is, David, when he went against the lion and the bear, was in a situation where failure was an absolute possibility. Doing battle with a lion or a bear is an uncommon thing with elements of danger and difficulty. But Jesus said in Matthew 19:26, actually the scripture reads, Jesus looked at them and said, with man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. God was with David and empowered him, and the glory and blessing that comes along with leaning on God is totally worth it. Bobby Kennedy, John F. Kennedy's brother, was speaking, and he said this, only those who dare to fail greatly can ever achieve greatly. There are lions that challenge us every day, but that shouldn't stop us from walking out, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That should not make us turn away from Goliath, but it should light a fire under us to run to the battle. 1 Samuel 17, 45 through 59 talks about this very thing. It says, David said to the Philistine, you come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. And this day the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and I'll strike you down and cut off your head. This very day I will give the carcass of the Philistine army to the birds and the wild animals, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel. All those gathered here will know that it is not by sword or spear that the Lord saves, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give all of you into our hands. And here's verse 48. It says, and as the Philistine moved closer to attack him, David ran quickly toward the battle line to meet him. Oh man, that's really good. Obviously, the enemy's always going to bring up the failure factor, the element of danger that might be encountered, the impossibility of the circumstance or situation. But it's all a false flag. Fear. False evidence appearing real. Yes, the lion or the giant may be real, but our God and his promises are bigger, greater, and more powerful, and he will give them into our hands. Caleb said as they were entering the promised land, they would eat the giants in the land as bread because God was with them and had given them the promised land. Although the challenges are real and there's always that nagging possibility of failure, we are not of those who shrink back because we trust in the name of the Lord our God. Now, I have a quick message for any lazy or slacking ones. First, you can change your ways. Trust in the Lord, let him direct your path, put away your unmotivated, unhealthy, unproductive thoughts. Take them captive to the obedience of Christ. But secondly, if you're not willing to work, or you're trying to avoid working for the kingdom, you best stay inside and leave the lions to those of us that are found worthy of the challenge. Because, come on, we're giant killers, we're lion killers, and we're going to get some kingdom business done.